I know most of you might be wondering what this is and why are two blocks placed parallel to each other? Like, isn't that a waste? Well, this is not. This is an expansion joint. An expansion joint is a deliberate separation between building elements that allows movement without causing damage. These expansion joints are used in structures that exceed the length of 30 meters. Some school of thought will say 25 meters, some would even say 45 meters. But if you know the most accurate one, please drop it at the comment section. Expansion joints are used not just in buildings but in bridges as well as other large structures. Imagine two people holding a thread, one at one end and the other person at the other end. You will discover that the farther the distance they keep between each other, the more likely the thread will sag and will no longer be straight. But if they get closer, the thread is more likely to remain straight. That is the role of an expansion joint. This helps create an array of joints between the structures and helps reduce imbalance and sagginess. Now, where are expansion joints actually necessary? You can't just place an expansion joint anywhere in a building. But before considering placing an expansion joint, the building will have to exceed the length of 30 to 45 meters. That's for a concrete structure. Expansion joints are also necessary for L-shaped buildings, T-shaped buildings, and also irregularly shaped buildings. Now, expansion joint helps in thermal expansion and contraction because concrete expands 12 millimeter per 30 meters length. That is when being heated by sun. If you don't know, your building materials actually expand when being heated and contract when it's being cooled. Okay, let me give you a simple illustration of what an expansion joint looks like. Now imagine holding a very long thread at a distance of 100 meters. One person at one end, another person at the other end. You will discover that that thread is more likely to sag and drop because the distance is too much. But if you decided to divide that thread, let me say into 5 or into 4 at 25 meters, you place 3 other persons in between to hold that thread is more likely to remain straight. Now that is the importance and role of an expansion joint. Now whenever you're traveling and you come across a very long bridge with the length of about 100 to 150 meters, you discover that there's an array of intersection. That is, whenever you're traveling, you look at the road, you're going to be seeing lines on the road. Growing up, I thought those things were actually errors, were actually construction errors, but I actually learned and understood that those are expansion joints. Those things are necessary to keep the bridge in balance, because if the bridge is just placed on a very straight line without having expansion joint, it's more likely to break, it's more likely to sag. There's a heavy wind, it's more likely to affect that bridge. Without an expansion joint, buildings may develop crack, distortion, or structural failure. I know the next time you step into a large structure, you'll probably be rolling your eyes to find an expansion joint. Well, if done properly by the builders, would only be seen by people with X-ray vision. If you're privileged to witness the erection of a very large concrete structure that spans beyond 60 meters, you discover that there was no expansion joint right from the foundation to the finish. My brother, my sister, run. Oh.